So I want to bring something up about the Kennedys. I brought it up before, but it's one of the reasons the Prince of the Air doesn't like me to speak because, the Prince of the Power of the Air goes out of its way to protect the Kennedys. I mean, out of its way. Because, this is the royal family. Except we're not supposed to have royal families. But they were. So when all those stupid people that did their No Kings bullshit protest, okay, even though everyone from the media to politicians, everybody turned him into, he's the Camelot, he's the god. Yeah, see here, the Emerald Kings. Yeah, just like Obama and Kennedy. Oh, the media loved Obama. I mean, he was like a god. They literally had, it was either Life or Time, the cover with Obama on it saying the second coming. So what's interesting about that is, well, the first time I heard Obama was when he spoke at Kennedy's, or not Kennedy, John Kerry's convention. It was when John Kerry was running against Bush Jr. for the second term. And I'm from Illinois, and here's this guy I'd never heard of get up there, and Obama is a fantastic speech. I mean, he's so smooth. He is so polished. He is so good at giving a speech. I mean, and for people that don't only hang on somebody's words, they'd get pulled in by him. But see, I seek God all the time because he keeps me sober. When you've been seeking God for as long as I have, you get to know him, okay? Well, he told me in that moment who Obama was, and that was long before Obama ran. But after that speech, because as good as he was, I'm like, he is so smooth. He can pull anybody in. Oh, he is fantastic, okay? The only thing is, a speech is only, if all you pay attention to is how it sounds, and you don't have discernment, you would get pulled in by him, okay? He did it with everybody. But after he was done speaking, I turned to my friend and I said, he'll go on to run in the next election cycle, he'll win, and he'll be the AC. But we've had many of them. I would consider him one too. Because God said there'll be many. And what people don't put together, okay, and I'm not saying God will purge, I'm just saying with this, nobody recognized the Kings, the Kennedys, the three circle here, the three Ks, okay? Yeah. Of Kennedys and Kings. Because what happened to JFK, RFK, and MLK? They were all assassinated. And they were all assassinated within a 6-year period. Not only them, but Tom Mboya. Because Tom Mboya was from Kenya, and he's the one that went to JFK and said, will you pay for our Kenya students? And this upset the black community, rightfully so. Okay, because it's like your foundation can pay for Kenya black students to come here when you could be doing that for people that are in poor neighborhoods. But he was quickly, like Obama, he was able to, and when they have the media's help to make them look smooth and like, gods, that's what ends up happening. And that's what happened with JFK. The problem is JFK was an enemy to us. Everything he did. Everything. Like, the one that infuriates me the most is the Bay of Pigs. And I wasn't alive then, but when the JFK files were released, and I read about how Eisenhower set all that up, and see, there was a good reason for the Bay of Pigs, because in South America, where's Venezuela, all that, okay, they were flying citizens of all over South America into Cuba, doing guerrilla training and psychological warfare training, and then sending them home. So the CIA had good reason to be concerned about this. So during Eisenhower, they set up the Bay of Pigs, okay, to handle this problem without creating some world crisis. But Eisenhower was going out at the time. JFK was coming in, and Eisenhower told JFK, you're president now, you don't have to do the Bay of Pigs, but if you do it, JFK, you got to give air support. What did he do? He turned around and did it and gave no air support. I'm like the most stupidest thing you can do. And did the media call him out? Because you'd have to be dead to do, like, I hate to say, well, you're stupid. And he wasn't a stupid man. He did it on purpose because that is what led. I mean, he got all these people hurt, but everything he did was to hurt America. Everything from flying Kenya students here, because then Obama Sr. was on the second flight because of the Kennedys. That's why all through their years before all this came to the surface, all the Kennedy Library raved about it in their speeches. Oh, yes, we're responsible. Oh, we're so proud of it. Yeah, bet you are. Just carrying on this bullshit legacy that was hurting America. So, even though the 60s were very traumatic, God intervenes. I'm telling you, he does, but you will not understand that. You will not understand the purging of the Charlie Kirks if you do not seek God, because this world and all the churches stay on this surface level of understanding God and say, we don't know the reasons. Well, no, God would like you to know the reasons, but you need to seek him, because he takes an active role. I'm not saying that's always going to be his answer, but with as much as he was doing to hurt this country, that's the reason then the other one was purged. I'm not saying it's an excuse for what the people did. What I'm saying is that there's a reason God doesn't intervene. That's what I'm saying. How many times has God intervened for Trump? Just remember that. How many times? Because there's a reason. It's not just by luck. God purges evilness, and it's in the Bible. He'll do it in front of you. And what the world will do is wail like these people were saints. So Kennedy, because he effed up purposely the Bay of Pigs, it created the Cuban Missile Crisis. Then he went on to be able to have an excuse to create a back channel with Russia, Khrushchev. Everything he did, every single damn thing he did, he was more interested in the enemies to us. And yet what everybody has done with this very moment in the Tiffany box is all the JFK, the Kennedy family loyalists came out, all their podcasts. They're still out there. Oh, they're everywhere. Because, see, the Kennedys have had much control over a lot in this country. They're the royal family. But we don't do the royal family thing. However, that's why the Tiffany box was so important for the world to see what Trumps were trying to tell you. Because the Kennedys being all tied to the European aristocrats and Queen Elizabeth and all of the people up to no good. Kennedy gave the Queen a Tiffany gift. What he gave her was a Tiffany frame with his picture in it signed. What Melania gave the Obamas was a Tiffany frame. We don't know what's in it. People have speculated. I'm sure it said the fake royal family will be leaving. But this is the reason you saw, like RFK, the Kennedys have been riding high on their glory in this country, okay? Not just here. JFK's name is on every building. I mean, these people, they love to highlight the dead individuals, you know? I understand, honoring to some degree, but it's gone way beyond with the Kennedys, okay? And this is the reason RFK Jr. ran, okay? Because they recognized this moment. They recognized this moment, and you have every podcaster from that franchise Pearson, and maybe they're just misled, but when I see that they have hundreds and thousands of followers, I think they're the ones just trying to mislead. Or they are misled, but the prince of, the power of the air is allowing them to have all these followers because they're not on the right track, even though they may think they are. This was a huge moment because that was a Tiffany frame, okay? Trump's more royal than the Kennedys. Yet all the media, everybody has hated Donald Trump, which tells you that he is not the enemy. I mean, it says in John's gospel alone that if the world loves you, then you're not one of mine. The world loved JFK. The world loved Obama. They think those were, when our country was at its greatest. But God was trying to tell you, no, the fake greatness is leaving the White House.